So you mentioned a while ago that you are connected with RITM. Is RITM under DOH?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it a practice or policy in RITM that you are commissioned by pharmaceutical companies to conduct studies?
The RITM is the research arm for infectious diseases of the
Kapeding,
department.
just answer my question, yes or no. Is it a policy or practice for RITM to be commissioned by pharmaceutical companies?
Yes, Your Honor, we have an executive order to accept commission to do research grants.
For pharmaceutical companies?
Yes.
Do you think there
Honor.
is no conflict of interest here?
There's an executive order, Your Honor.
From what? From the Secretary of Health? What is that executive order number?
I think it's 637, Your Honor.
And who signed that executive order?
It was signed in 1981. I think it's President Marcos. We'll look into that, Your Honor, and we'll submit the executive order, a copy of the executive order.
Yusek Domingo, in the absence of Secretary Duque, can you please evaluate and just make a study if it is yes. Revisit, yeah, that's the right word
yes,
there.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Dr. Kapeding, what is your role in the Dengvaxia vaccine program?
I have no role in the Dengvaxia implementation. I'm the principal investigator of the clinical trial, which is different from the vaccine implementation of the Department of Health.
But you mentioned a while ago that you were commissioned by Sanofi to conduct study.
Yeah, together with other 34.
So this is your role in the Dengvaxia?
Actually, our clinical trial, it's not Dengvaxia. It's CYD14. It's a clinical trial. It's not the Dengvaxia.
Okay. So you mentioned a while ago that the active study was done in 2011 to 2014, and that there are two phases. The other phase is follow-up phase. So you did not mention what is the coverage of the study for the follow-up phase.
So the active phase was the 2012 to 2013, and then
again, because you mentioned a while ago earlier that the active is 2011 to 2014. So are you changing this?
Yes,
is it 2012 to 2013 or 2011 to 2014?
I just want to correct, Your Honor. The active phase surveillance was November 2011 to 2013.
Okay.
That's 25 months.
Okay. And then? What about the follow-up phase?
The follow-up, we call it the long-term surveillance phase, and that's from 2014 until 2017.
Okay. So meaning the vaccine was, Dengvaxia was implemented or was used in the immunization program without finishing the long-term or what Mr. Triumph has mentioned, it's a follow-up phase.
It's a follow-up phase.
Okay. So meaning the follow-up phase, you did not wait for the the follow-up phase or the long-term was completed before the Dengvaxia was used.
Your Honor, I just want to clarify, ours was a clinical trial. We have nothing with regards to the vaccine, the school-based implementation.
But FDA is using the result of the studies of Dr. Kapeding for the approval of the registration, right? FDA? So yes. And that is about Dengvaxia.
Your Honor, can I respond? Yeah. That's correct, Your Honor. But I would just like to specify that for the clinical trial phase 3, that was completed in December 2013. That was the basis of our registration.
Okay.
So the long-term follow-up is not actually part of the review process.
Yes.
at that time.
So,
Thank you,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Lulu, what you're saying is your evaluation of approving, as basis of approving the registration of the product is based on the first phase,
On,
which is the active.
Clinical trial phase 3, Your Honor, the active phase.
Okay, the active phase.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Kapeding, I'll go back to you. So the follow-up phase or the long-term phase was completed in 2017. Which month?
For the clinical trial site in San Pablo, it's September 2017. For Cebu, November 2017, because there are two clinical trial sites in the country.
Okay. So my question is, how come that you did not finish the long-term phase or the follow-up phase before you recommended to FDA for the approval of the Dengvaxia?
Your Honor, I just want to clarify. Ours was a clinical trial. We have no part in the decision-making regarding the school-based immunization program.
I did not say that you decided on anything, but I said recommendation because that was the basis of FDA for the approval of the registration of the product.
We are
So,
not.
meaning, Ms. Lulu, you are dependent on the result of the studies, of the clinical studies of Dr. Kapeding.
Your Honor, the RITM is just one of the clinical trial sites of the CYD14 po. There are other countries who actually participated in the clinical trial, and that would include Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam.
So are you aware that there is a follow-up or long-term phase?
Your Honor, at the time when the Sanofi submitted the clinical trial, the result of the clinical trial phase 3, it came in two parts, the Part 3A and then Part 3B. For purposes of product registration, the proof of safety efficacy would be enough for issuing the marketing authorization, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Lulu, anong pakiramdam nyo ngayon since lumabas dun sa follow-up and long-term phase that it poses risk?
Your Honor, when we issued the certificate of product registration, it was discussed earlier that the post-market surveillance is part of the requirement. There were 3 studies under post-approval safety studies and post-approval efficacy studies. So the company, whoever it is, they should fulfill the requirements to continuously monitor safety.
Yeah.
And that was actually the reason when they submitted the November 2017 result.
At saka dun lumabas na meron siyang risk.
Yes, Your Honor, that's right. And under the existing regulation, meron po kami sinasabing variation guidelines wherein the company should notify the agency and seek approval of this labeling change po.
So even though the damage is already there, so anong pwede ninyo magawa doon? Because this is
Your
this
Honor,
is chaotic. Kung makausap niyo lang yung parents ng mga magulang,
Your Honor, the certificate of product registration was already suspended in December.
but that's not enough. That's not enough. The damage is already there. You cannot appease the parents by saying, we suspended, we will ask for refund, we will file criminal case against Sanofi. That's not enough. So meaning, dapat ang RITM, they waited for that the studies, the clinical studies should be completed before the product was used.
Your Honor, can I just clarify? We have no part in the licensure of the vaccine or drug.
Dr. Kapeding, ikaw nga yung basis nila for approving. So, huwag ka na mag-deny dyan. Yun nga ang basis nila to approve the product registration. Tama ba, Ms. Lulu?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Oh, why are you saying na, I don't have participation in the... Ikaw yung basis eh. Ba't hindi ka naghintay nung long-term result or studies?
Your Honor, we are conducting the clinical trial, it's different. So we don't participate in the licensure of the drug, of the vaccine.
Nagtagalog na nga ako eh. So ano pang gusto mong sabihin ko? Ikaw nga ang basis ng FDA to approve the product registration. Hindi naman yun i-go ng DOH kung walang product registration. So sino ang basis ng FDA? Ikaw. So what you're saying now? Sinasabi mo, wala akong kinalaman dyan.
Kasi, Your Honor, ang sa amin kasi, clinical trial yan. So, kaya yung phases na yan na 2 stages, kaya tinuloy namin kasi it's independent, it's beyond ang sa amin. Hindi kami, we have nothing to do with the licensure at saka and decision in terms of
what are you
vaccine
saying?
implementation.
You are independent tapos you're working with DOH? And then commissioned by Sanofi. Dr. Kapiding, malaki talaga yung role mo dito.
Ang ano lang, I just want to clarify, Your Honor, ang sa amin kasi is clinical trial. So,
Ang result nga ng clinical trials mo will be the basis. Ay, Diyos ko, nakalimang beses na ako. Ano ba yan?
Siguro, Your Honor, it's the Sanofi kasi wala kami, have nothing to do with application for licensure.
Come on, you were commissioned by Sanofi. Magkano binayad sa'yo ng Sanofi?
I received 40,000 pesos monthly.
Can you furnish, Mr. Chair, can we ask Dr. Kapeding to submit the copy of the contract with Sanofi?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so 40,000 ang binayad sa'yo for clinical trials.
It's monthly, Your Honor.
O so, for how many months? Akala ko 40,000 lang eh.
Your Honor, yung...
For how many months? Magko-compute tayo.
So, the study...
So how much total? Ilang years yung study?
Ang study started with 2011
To 2014.
until 2017, Your Honor.
O see? Ang laki pala ng binayad na Sanofi sa'yo eh. So, ikaw, imagine, here's the conflict of interest. Ang FDA uses your report to approve the registration of the product. Tapos, Sanofi ang nag-commission sa'yo.
Your Honor,
Alam nga naman, binayaran ka, imagine, 40,000 times, ilang years to? 40,000 times 12 times
Your Honor,
7 years or 6 years. Alam nga naman, hindi ka maglabas ng positive result, di ba? Grabe naman yun kung maglalabas ka ng negative result.